Okay, welcome to ANZCRL's Pro British Touring Car Championships, the final round of the championship for 3 races here at Knockhill. We're just into qualifying. I'm your host, Woody Lizard, and beside me in the booth tonight is, once again, Huds. How are you, Huds?
How you going, mate? It's good to be back. And evening, race fans. And yeah, obviously this is the battle for the championship right here, isn't it? So, you know, it's going to be on, I think, tonight.
Yeah, and look at this wet weather Scotland's brought on to us for qualifying. Huds, this is really going to make it hard with bonus points for pole position is very vital for the championship chase.
Yeah.
I believe that you've got the standings there and the points that we may be able to go through.
Yeah,
so the viewers
absolutely.
can sort of gauge where everyone is.
Yep, okay, so in first at the moment is Dark Racing on 207 points, followed by Dado in second with 183. Weary Knight is in third with 171. Fourth is Jetto on 154. Fifth is Lolux 53 with 113. Sixth is Commander Cirrus 53 with 110. Seventh is Slide Science with 109 points. Eighth is Dark Lord 78 with 92 points. Ninth is Night Havoc with 76 points. 10th is Illogical Sports with 75 points. And 11th is Maddie Seeking with 61 points.
Yeah, some of those guys, obviously, Huds, as we know from some of the guys that have been watching throughout the series, may have seen that some of those guys have missed some of the races, so that's why some of the points are low. Like Maddie Seeking missed a few the last round, I think.
Logical Sports had drama in the first because he moved house, so he couldn't get the internet. So
yeah, he's got a good battle though, trying to pick up the pieces. Only 1 point behind Night Havoc there in Night Havoc in 9.
Yep.
So he'd be happy to try and get that Mercedes AMG up there one more spot.
Yep.
And what was that gap again for between the leaders, Dark Racing and Dado? That's a big battle there.
It's 24 points, and then third is Weary Knight, who was the furthest 12 points behind Dado. So it's going to be on. I mean, it's anyone's really. This qualifying is so important, given that it's the only qualifying for the night. And being in the wet weather, it's going to be tough. Bit of pressure on.
Yeah, at the moment, we've actually, the man that we've been watching, Maddie Seeking, he's actually the fastest man.
Yeah.
He was having trouble in practice, but he's actually pulled out some great numbers with a 53 in this wet weather.
Yep.
And 1 bonus point, so that's something that obviously Dado is really chasing. He was fastest in practice, but it's a bit wetter now from what the practice was.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot more standing water, and it's going to get worse.
Yep.
So 20 points for a race victory, and there's 3 more races to go in this championship, Hud. So it's not impossible for Dado, but second place they get 17. So we've seen Dark Racing so consistent in most of his races. So Dado's really hoping for Darky to have a few little problems to see if he can leapfrog him and gain those extra points, because only getting 3 difference points over these 3 races ain't going to do enough for him. Ain't going to cut it.
No, that's for sure. And with only 3 minutes left in quali, we got Dark Racing's currently in the pits. Dado's on the circuit at the moment. He needs to get up on that front row. In my eyes, he has to get on that front row for that first race.
Well, he's well and truly in the thick of things at the moment. Yep. I think if Darky's just in front of him, but right in the mid-pack for the start of this race, it's as we know, it's a very tight circuit. And coming down into turn 1, as they call as the Duffer Stip, I think it's called, then into Leslie's, it's so tight, and there's always bound to be action and incidents through there. But a big shout out to the...
Now he goes 4th, Dado, so 54.3, he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, that's 1 strike onto his challenger there with Darky. But Illogical Sports in the Mercedes at the moment, I think. Is that him in second?
54.0, yeah.
Yeah, and the P51 Sim Sports Mercedes. The Merc showing a lot of pace in this wet weather and the shorter circuit at the moment. Currently, also they've got the BOPs. Also, we've got to remember too, the BOPs are in force for this qualifying session. Now, Logical Sports, his restrict is almost fully open at 52 mil. Fully open is 55, and the leaders is Dark Racing. He's got his closed up at 37.1. So there's a big chunk there, difference in the air restrictor. So that's why we might be seeing the Logical actually up there at the moment, which is a good start for the first race here tonight.
Cat amongst the pigeons, isn't it? And the other guy that's been, well, I spoke too soon. I was going to say Logical's been on fire. Lolux has been on fire at the moment. He won the second or third heat last week. I think
he did.
Week before he set the quickest 153.8 at Snetterton, or is it 53.8? He's been very quick. He's very quick the other night as well. ANZ Combined Racing League versus Shakedown, which the ANZ New Zealand, Combined Racing League won, which we're all pretty happy about.
Here's a man, Night Havoc, to see what he can do at the moment. Currently in third, showing some pace in that Opel Astra at the moment in the Griventech outfit. His teammate Commander Jim ran in the Open Championship last night and ended up finishing in that championship 8th in total, Commander Jim.
We're just going to have a look
so
at
we've got
Dark Racing now.
Night Havoc currently 9th in the championship.
He's up to third still, 54.2. Here's Darky. He'll want to improve on that 8th. He won't be happy with that at all at this stage.
Look, I think he'll be lucky to improve, to tell you the truth, with that track. There's a lot more standing water now. He'd have to pull something out of his back pocket to get something better than what he's got at the moment. His best time,
54.6.
what is it, a 54.6. So he's not going to get another lap. This is going to be it. We'll see what he gets over the line. Trying hard in that Mochi car.
Here it
doesn't
comes.
He's
Yeah,
improved
he's
there.
3/10 quicker now. So he's up to the 5th. He's right next to Dado. The two protagonists, 1 and 2 on the points table, right next to each other on the third row. Second row up. They're not next to each other, sorry. Darky is on the third row. Dado was on the second row. My apologies.
But the big thing here, though, is that Dado will actually be on the inside.
Yep.
Of row 2, whereas Darky will be on the outside of row 3, because Pole is on the left, so that's on the outside running into turn 1. So that's going to be interesting. I'll get a quick screenshot of this if you want a quick.
Yeah, sure. Okay, on pole is Matty Seeking in the P51 Opel Sim Sports. P2 is Logical Sports in another P51 Sim Sports. P3 is Night Havoc in Team Griventech. 4th is Dado Racer in the Monster Energy car. 5th is Dark Racing in the Yamochi Racing Team car. 6th is Commander Cirrus in the P51 Sim Sports Mercedes. 7th is Jetto in the Mochi Racing Team second car. And in 8th is Weary Night in another P51 Opel Sim Sports car. 9th is Lolux in the Team Air Bubbles car. And 10th is Dark Lord. Looks like we've lost Slide Science already.
No, Slow Science is there. You might have to just move down. He's there in the Team Apex.
Okay, hang on.
Did a 55.6.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. Yep.
So
Amateur.
we'll continue on to the race, and let's see how the guys go. And look at that. They'll be happy to see that rain dissipate, and a nice... I think it's pretty... Looks like some heavy clouds out there at the moment. 11 o'clock in the morning, this race is set at.
Going to be a tricky track. It's going to be a green track. After all that rain, it's going to be a little bit slippy out there, I would have thought.
I think you've picked that one too. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so it's going to be very tricky off the start, especially coming into up over the rise there, turn 1 into turn 2. Turn 3 at McIntyre's. We know it's such a tight right-hand corner. It's very tricky, and trying to funnel these 11 cars through, and most of them will be probably side by side too. It's going to be tight, and then the run up towards the chicane through Butchers and into the chicane is definitely going to see. And it's a big track where track limits is a telling factor as well.
Absolutely it is.
Huds?
Yep, for sure. I think we've got someone lagging there in and out of the pits. It kind of looks like Lolux.
Weary.
It's Lolux.
Lolux. That's not good. So anyway.
Might have lost Lolux. Yep, he's gone.
Yeah. I think he's gone. So here we go, syncing up. We're about to start. Matty on pole. What can he do in the Opel Sim Sports car? All lights are out, and here we go, and off they go. And it looks like the Logic's had a good little run down the for the run down to the inside, but he's going to tuck in behind. And Night Havoc in that team driven tech with Dado, making sure that, there's one of those P51 Sports cars out the back there, might be Weary Night, having a bit of trouble. They all funnel through very safely through the first part of the track, down the, up to the chicane, through the chicane, here they come, as they rising up over the rise, as you can see there, Night Havoc up on two wheels, defending that third spot.
Here comes Dado.
Over Dado.
Here comes Dado.
And will Darky take his opportunity to follow through. Can't let Dado get away too much.
Very tightly
Nice start by everyone. Just join us. We unfortunately had Lolux disconnect at the start line. Maddie has already got a penalty. It's not uncommon to see these red dots start popping up on our screen. Very tight, hard circuit to try and limit the track limits. You're trying to inch every second out of these track as you can. Maddie hits.
Oh, he butchered it.
And he's butchered it probably out of, well, not out of butchers, but he is actually out of butchers, I think. So that's probably why it's called butcher, because you can butcher it through there. So you picked it well there. Down his slops, down the back straight.
Into third, Dado is in second.
Yeah, chasing down the Mercedes now. As we said earlier, the Mercedes has got pretty much an open air restrictor and off it goes. The Renault's been showed the full true form throughout the series.
Series leader.
Car that most people say are a bit OP over everyone else, but it's been entertaining to watch the battle between the Opals and the Mercedes, trying to challenge these Renaults. You just see how nice he's fed that through that chicane there, turn 5, up into Clark's, turn 6. His lops, little left kink down this back straight, and then that big braking point, big overtaking section. You'll see a lot of cars sometimes trying to take the move down the inside. There's plenty of room for two cars at Taylor's hairpin. Down the straight we go, and there's a lap on Dark Racing, our championship leader, and also chasing down his nemesis in front, Dado Racer, who's second in the championship.
And Jetto's the quickest on the circuit at the moment with a 51.651.
Yeah, it's not too bad on this green track, as you picked up earlier, Huds. This track won't be rubbered in at all, because after all that rain that we had
Dado's
to
got a
practice
penalty
qualifying.
too.
Yeah, he's pushing hard, but you know, at the end of the day too, when Darky gets trying to push it through too, you might see he might get a penalty, but 2 seconds, that could be pretty costly.
He's got to get around the logical, he has to.
So this is race 13. Race 13 of 15. We've got only this race and 2 more to go of the championship, and it's between these two here. Dark Racing 40 currently leading the championship, 24 points in front of the man just in front of him, Dado Racer. And then in third spot is who did we say was in third again? Sorry, I forgot already.
And who's that? That's Night Havoc who's just gone off there. Sirius has got the run on him here now. Illogical Dado's just hit the lead. I think Illogical Sports must have made a little mistake. And who's that pulling up over there? Oh, now it's between these two.
And now this is the championship leaders. Off they go, and we've also got Darky's teammate Jetto. He's been unlucky too. We had a disconnect just before the start of a round as well, which cost him his chase in the championship. As Darky having a little show down the outside, trying to position himself. Very possible to get a little overtake happening into turn 3.
Track record is 50.9, or lap record is 50.9.
By this man that we're running on board at the moment, Dark Racing 40, he ran that time back in 2019 in the same car. Championship well and truly alive. Dado's doing everything he can do. He can only just try and do one better and get the fastest lap as well to get that one bonus point. He needs every point that he can get. Can he force Darky into a bit of a mistake? Can he try and get Darky, dangle the carrot in front of Darky and make him make a bit of a mistake with a move? Look at his car control, Huds, isn't it? Good to see.
Very impressive.
Two of the best at it at the moment. The British Touring Car Championship on Project Cars 2 on the Xbox. We're ANZCRL Combined Racing League for all your Australian, New Zealand sim races on the Xbox. Come and join us.
With all that excitement up the front, Cirrus has moved into P4.
Oh, here we go. Look at both the Mercedes have just decided that they want two wheels only. Launching the car out of the chicane. Cirrus defending hard with Night Havoc right behind him. As the battle still continues up front, there's plenty going down the back as well, especially as we've seen with Weary and Sly. There's that very close as well for 7th and 8th by the looks of it. Plenty of time penalties happening in the mid-pack.
Whoa.
Oh, the Mercedes.
The 51s are coming together again.
Yeah, they after such a great. Oh, it's Slide Science has just gone straight off. That could be maybe a hardware error or just him getting too tired over there in New Zealand.
Now look at this between the two leaders of this championship. 0.2 of a second. Darky wants this win. He knows if he wins this, he's just a step closer to that championship.
Yeah, but in return, this Monster Energy crew of Dado Racer definitely wants to try and keep him at bay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Try and force a mistake. But at the moment, as we saw earlier, Dado has got that 2-second penalty hanging over his head at the moment, so over his shoulder. So Darky effectively has the lead of this race, and almost Dado, if he can gain a little bit more time as well, he can actually leapfrog Dado, and that would be a real knife in his challenge, that's for sure, in the back, yeah. Doesn't want to see that happen, so he's got to move on. He's just got to try and think and knuckle down.
Has to, for me, Dado, even if he loses this race because of the time penalty, he has to finish second. That all-important front row start on race 2. Yeah,
definitely. So that's exactly what we haven't touched on either. Most of our regular viewers would know that the race results from this race and the next race, that obviously is their starting position for the following race. So at the moment, both these two look like they're going to be on the front row.
Dado's just putting the hammer down here. He's extended. It doesn't look like a hell of a lot more, but it's another 3/10, 4/10 on Darky. Maybe Darky's just backed it off. He knows about that 2-second penalty. He doesn't need to do anything silly. It's all balls in Dado's court. He's got to make the running here.
Definitely, and Dado obviously has to try and get the fastest lap as well at the same time, and says Darky doesn't really have to worry about that bonus point. All he needs to do is just get some solid race results. Doesn't know what's going to happen in the next 2 races either. Anything can happen, so he needs to put this one in the bank nice and early.
Weary Night, he's come up to 5th after that horrible start. He's pushing hard.
Having a good run right in the middle of these two. Oh, running it very wide, but that could also be a lag because we have seen him lag in the mid, so as you can see. It's a bit off-putting for all the drivers involved when that happens. So,
get off him. Oh, he's gone.
So,
no, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't gone yet, but he's getting close to it, so hopefully he can continue on through without disconnecting.
We've lost one, haven't we? Who have we lost? Because we started with 11.
Low
Lux,
Lux,
of course, sorry.
At the start.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, King of the God.
And we've just lost Weary by
Weary's gone,
So some of these guys, both those guys did have low connection at the start, so that's what happens sometimes.
Oh, Darky. So Weary Night, he can put his cue in the rack now because he was in 3rd. He had 171 points. He was 12 points adrift of Dado. So he's not going to get any further up the championship table, I wouldn't think, with 2 races left and just retiring.
So Weary Knight, this is a big tell. Was that what we're talking about, him and Jetto? Weary Knight, obviously having that disconnect. There's a bit of a points difference, as we were saying. What 17 points.
17 points. So if Jetto finishes third, he'll close to within 2 points of Weary. Does Weary get any points for completing 11 laps, or?
He's got to. Yes, he does. He's just made it. He had to make at least 12 laps. How many laps did he? 11.9 laps it was. So he has to make his 70%. So he was on lap. Well, he's almost lap 12 when he disconnected. So it's going to be a close one. In fairness, he'll probably get full positions for 10th spot.
Okay. So he'll get 6 points. That will take him to 177. Jetto will go to 169. So that's only 8 points, according to your maths.
Yeah, very close.
Darky's got one second now. So.
And that's almost the gap. The difference is almost 1 second. So Dado is doing a tremendous job out in front. And yeah, good old Aussie internet exactly by us. That's just how it is sometimes. But
he's going to lose half a second there.
He's lost plenty of time there, Hud. So, and all the meantime too, the Dado is extending, making himself is very safe from Jetto. As Jetto just running wide, coming out of Butchers there.
Jetto's probably settled for third at this stage. Get the points. Fight again another day. Here's Darky. Doesn't need to push. Doesn't need to push for me. He just needs to retain his spot, keep Dado under pressure. Doesn't have to do anything silly. He's going to start on that front row again. He's still going to have. He's only going to be 21 points. It will still be 21 points in front if he finishes second.
Yeah, that's true. Dado, he basically lost a lot of time coming out of turn 8 out of Taylor's hairpin. He ran really wide, which has given Darky now right on the back of him. And he's going to have a look up here. He's made a look up into Clark's. And he got him. What a great move by Darky. He's slowly edging him up on that previous lap, just getting closer. What can Dado do? He's had a big dive bomb down the inside. What a great move. Might just go to the camera view. There we go. It's a drag now. He's down into turn 1. What's going to happen into Duffer Stip? The Duffer Stip. Dado's still there. Darky, we know they've rubbed panels throughout the season. Oh, Dado's thought twice. Oh, he's hanging on to that rear end. He's
got a penalty here, Dado, is he?
No,
trying to clear it. He's got 4 seconds now, Dado.
4 seconds. So he's going to actually drop, I reckon, to third now with Jetto.
He's got to up the pace.
Jetto hasn't got a penalty.
Lapping a bit.
He needs to try and get on the back of Darky as best he can. It's all fallen apart for Dado. He's done so well for 15 laps of this 17-lap race, but it's starting to unravel now. The pressure's getting to him.
Still just in front of Jetto. Minus 4 seconds.
They're just on their last lap now, so they've just taken their last lap. So what can happen? We don't know. We've got a bit of lap traffic just in front of Darky. Dark Lord, I think it might be, or Slide Science. I'm not too sure. I think it might be Slide.
Oh, he's
Slide
off
Science
again.
is actually off on the infield, so that's not going to affect Darky in any way as he's rejoining the track. Slide Science hasn't had the greatest of rounds.
Jetto will finish second if that time. That's only 3 seconds, so Dado's going to be relegated unless he can pull out at least a second here. It's only 3 seconds at the moment between the second and third. We know Dado's got that 4 second penalty.
Yeah, it's gonna
Here
look
he
like,
comes.
I think Jetto, and
Dark
here he goes.
Racing, 1 step closer to that championship now.
just like to see these results playing out
Jedi,
as they go over the
there you
finish
go.
line. As Jedi has let Frog Dado for keeping it clean. Two drivers are the only two drivers was Jedi and this man in Logical Sports to keep the clean sheet without any penalties as they all filtered through to finish off the races. Night Havoc and Maddie. What happens there? They hold position, I think. Yes, they do, as Maddie is taking it straight into the tyre barrier.
Gutful, yep. Okay,
And there we go. So who got an extra bonus point? It looks like Darky may have got that fastest lap as well. Yes, he has.
He has he?
Another nail in the coffin for Dado by the looks of things. It's going to be tough for two more races.
Got to win the next two races. Okay, Dark Racing 40 was your winner in that one. In second position was Jedi 13. In third was Dado Racer. In fourth was Illogical Sports. In fifth was Commander Sirius. In sixth was Night Havoc. In seventh was Maddie Seeking 27. In eighth was Slide Science. In ninth was Dark Lord 78. And in 10th, he didn't actually start, was Low Lux. And that's it.
And then we also had, remember we had Weary
Night.
Weary
Night, sorry, yep.
That was would have finished in 10th position on the points with just on 12 laps, I think it was. So just squeeze in. So what a race! So both myself, Woody Lizard, and Huds will be back very shortly. We've got a practice session for the guys to get into their new BOP, their restrictor settings, and then after that we'll be back for the second race of the evening and see what happens there. And that's going to be the grid order, as you can see on that screen. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Darky and Jedi, the two Emochi teams, locking out the grid and blocking Dado into that first corner. So it's looking good for the Emochi team, but plenty still to pan out. We'll catch up with you shortly.
See you guys.